NAHOO TV በዩቲዩብ ቻናል ፕሮግራማችንን ይወዷቸዋልና ላይክ ለማድረግ ጥብቅ ቤተሰባችን ለመሆን ሰብስክራይብ የምትለዋን በተን ለመጫን ጊዜው አሁን ነው።
ሰላም ጤና ይስጥልን ውድ የዲፕሎማሲ ሾው ፕሮግራማችን ተከታታዮች ዛሬ የምንገኘው በእድሜ ትንሿ ከምትባለው ከሳውዝ ሱዳን ኤምባሲ ውስጥ ነው። ሳውዝ ሱዳን እንደሚታወቀው በሚዲያም እንደሚሰማው ከሪፐብሊክ ኦፍ ሱዳን ነፃነቷን የተቀዳጀችው እንደ አውሮፓውያን አቆጣጠር በ2011 ዓመተ ምህረት ነው። አሁን ደግሞ እኛ በዲፕሎማሲ ሾው ፕሮግራማችን ላይ ኤምባሲውን ልንቃኝ እዚህ ሳውዝ ሱዳን ኤምባሲ ተገኝተናል። አሁን ደግሞ እስቲ ወደ ውስጥ ገባ እንበልና የአምባሳደሩ ቢሮ ምን እንደሚመስል አብረን እንቃኝ። እሺ ተመልካቾቻችን እንግዲህ አሁን የሚገኘው በአምባሳደሩ ቢሮ ውስጥ ነው። እንደሚታወቀው ደቡብ ሱዳን ዋና ከተማዋ ጁባ ሲሆን ወደ 12 ሚሊዮን የሚጠጋ የህዝብ ብዛት ያላት እንዲሁም አብዛኛው የህብረተሰቧ የክርስትና እምነት ተከታይ የሆነች ሀገር ናት። አሁን ደግሞ ቤተልሔም ከአምባሳደር ጄምስ ፒት ሞርጋን ጋር ያደረገችውን ቆይታ ተከታትለን እንመለስ። በያላችሁበት ከዲፕሎማሲ ሾው ጋር መልካም ቆይታ።
Hope this peace agreement will be implemented, and when peace is fully restored, because UNHCR is reporting there are almost around more than 400,000 refugees in Ethiopia right now from South Sudan. How is your government plan to return these refugees back home and reintegrate them into the society again?
Apart from the refugees, we have internally displaced people.
Yes, IDPs.
Inside South Sudan.
How many are there?
The number I'm not sure of, but we have a number because some of the people during the ceasefire, some of the people have left the camps and have gone to their villages. In Ethiopia, yes, we have a very big number of refugees, especially in the Gambela area. Recently, we have seen movement of the people who are now trying to go back home. But we are telling them going back home on their own will not be possible because this needs a repatriation to be organized by the government of South Sudan, by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, and the other international organizations need to be involved. So, we are looking for that. That will happen very soon. We have seen the number of people coming to the embassy who have expressed their desire to go back home. Some of them have already gone, but that is just a number of individuals. But the real repatriation will be done. The government of Ethiopia, the government of South Sudan, and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees will get involved because a refugee is always returning home on voluntary basis. But I'm sure most of the people across the border, especially people in the Gambela area, who in fact their villages are just across the border, most of them are now going. Most of them are going. And we see that maybe in the middle of the coming month of November, December, because also this is going to be a dry season where people will be able to go and build for themselves whatever they want to build. So this coming dry season, we expect to see a big number of people going back home, either voluntarily or they will wait to be repatriated because everybody is willing to go home. So that one is one of the programs that we will be working on it.
How many refugees you have on the Ugandan border right now?
Yeah, in the Uganda, as I said earlier, the number was first of all estimated to be around 1 million. Later on, it was contested that the number was not correct. It was very high, but it should be around maybe 900,000, which also is a very big number. There's no difference whether 1 million or 900,000. They are all still like 1 million. We have also refugees in Kenya, also a big number of them. We have refugees in Sudan, also a big number. And in DRC Congo and Central Africa, we may have very few. But these are all the people of South Sudan whom, when we talk of elections, we are counting on them. Yes. So each and every person will be going back home. So that when we reach the time of elections, the elections must be comprehensive for all of us, so that other people will say, not come and say, oh no, these elections we were not party. So everybody will be encouraged to go back home so that together we can participate in the coming elections.
So basically South Sudan is rich with crude oil, and there are many reports saying after this peace agreement is implemented, and the crude oil revival will boost the economy of South Sudan. First, I want you to say something on it, and then I want you also to answer what will also another sector that your economy will depend on.
These are all very good questions, because the economy of South Sudan is not going only to rely on oil. We have a lot of oil. The exploration was not complete. The oil exploration in South Sudan is not yet complete. And we believe just recently after the ceasefire and the war stopped, so many wells had been opened, something like 5 to 6, and still others that were destroyed. The renovation is going on, and soon they will be all on operation. What is very important is also to carry out the exploration of oil in other areas that remain unexplored. South Sudan has got a lot of minerals. Apart from minerals, South Sudan has almost 75% arable land, which is good for agriculture. I think what was lacking in South Sudan was peace. But once peace is achieved, there will be so many factors, or there will be so many sectors that can be put together to become the factors of production, which will boost the economy that will immediately be geared towards rehabilitation of the roads. The infrastructure was damaged, building of the schools, because all these refugees, when they go back home, the children need to go to school. Also, medical services need to be provided, clean drinking water need to be made available for them, and so many things. So what we just had been yearning for was peace. But now that peace seemed to be the acceptable thing that all the parties, all the warring parties in South Sudan have now agreed that peace must prevail in the country. So we believe there will be so many things that will happen in South Sudan, and we hope that from the beginning the country had never been explored. There will be a lot of exploration being done.
Okay, so who will be your development ally?
We have now finally, we have two things that will happen. The recent visit of invitation of all the African leaders to China. China has taken up signed so many MOUs and agreements. That is on the international level. Within the region, we also need to connect our neighborhood with all our neighbors. So these ones, in February of 2017, like here in Ethiopia, we had already signed so many MOUs on the roads, on the security sector, because we also want to make sure that our neighborhood is peaceful. So we will involve also our neighbors to partake in this grand program of development, connectivity with our neighbors, and also to make sure that our people in all parts of the region are peaceful, so that they can move freely to do their own things. So I think we will connect all our neighbors to work together with us, because that is very important, to have the roads, to have the other development projects that we need to do together as the people of the region.
So coming to this, I know Ethiopia, South Sudan and Kenya are now building a railway that can connect the three countries.
Yes.
And it's been built, now it's given, the construction is given to Chinese company.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
This one of, because what we know is the Northern Corridor, the building of the road from Mombasa up to the border with Ethiopia, and then also branching to South Sudan. This is one of the agreement that was there, and it will be built. Of course, the three countries have got their own, but also we, South Sudan and Ethiopia, we are looking at this railway line that came from Djibouti, and now that it is in Addis Ababa, we are looking at that project also to be connecting to South Sudan. In the February 2017 agreements, we had two lines. One was going to the oil fields, the other one was going direct to Juba. But we want all these things to be done. The governments of Sudan, Ethiopia, Kenya, including Uganda, and now even Sudan, we need that connectivity. I think it's very important for all of us. Our leaders already discussed about it, and I think they are working to do something about it. Whether we will bring a third party that can help us develop these roads, for example, the Chinese, they are ready to help us. I think that will go well.
Yeah, one of the diplomatic ways is connecting people to people.
Yes.
So I hope these railways and everything will help us out. But in addition to that, Ethiopian government has given scholarship for South Sudanese students in Ethiopia. Can you tell us about the numbers and what kind of studies they're doing?
Very good. We just a few months ago, we have a big number of South Sudanese who graduated from several or various universities in Ethiopia. And this is not the only number that we know. You know that when South Sudan became independent, we signed a MOU with Ethiopia in 2012, which in fact Ethiopia took the capacity building of the people of South Sudan. The history I narrated here was what Ethiopia had been doing to help the people of South Sudan in all areas. We have police officers who also had their training here. We graduated about a number of 17 officers in Sandafa Police College. This was last year, followed by the students from TVET, who in fact are technicians, about 50 of them. Also we graduated about various numbers from several universities, including those in Mekelle, Hawassa, Nazareth. We have a big number, but the celebration was done here together. That number was almost like 63 of them. And then others like in the New Generation University also graduated. So we have a very big number of South Sudanese who are here on various scholarships. We have the team of doctors also who are doing various, taking different fields like specializations in different fields in areas of medicine. And we have many and many people who are here. So that was the role Ethiopia took it to help the people of South Sudan right from 2011. That was officially. But before 2011, many South Sudanese also had lived here, dating back to 1972. Okay. Many of the officials in South Sudan who are now aging, many of them also graduated from here, okay, and they've been running the government of South Sudan for all these years. So in fact, we don't have an ending program with Ethiopia. It is a continuous.
So one of the economic integration, I believe, in a region should be oil. Yes. Coming from South Sudan perspective. Yes. Yes. And Ethiopia has hydroelectric power.
Yes.
What have you planned so far with the Ethiopian government?
In the agreement that was signed in February 2017, we had that also signed. Once the dam is completed, South Sudan will import the oil, the power, the hydropower from the ongoing construction in the the Renaissance Dam on the Blue Nile. So South Sudan will be importing that hydropower, especially to extract the oil. Because now, if the oil is going to go deep, it needs that kind of power to extract it. So we will get that power in order to generate more production in the area of oil. We also have in that agreement said, why should Ethiopia be going very far to look for the oil? The oil in South Sudan should also be utilized by Ethiopia's demand. For example, we need to set up this refinery. Mm-hmm. There was a proposal that refinery must be built at the border near Gambela, at the border of South Sudan and Ethiopia, so that instead of Ethiopia looking for going to bring oil from far, the tankers can just go and fill up their tanks in the border area and then distribute to the petrol stations. And this one really need to be done, because we cannot waste time without doing this kind of development. If we don't do it, then we are doing disservice to our people. It is very important that the mutual benefits and mutual understanding of countries depends on the people, not the governments. It is the people who should be given these services to them. The highways, if they are built also, this is another way of people getting together, set up their businesses along the highways. I think I mentioned something to you. In US, if you want to go from California to, from what they say, from coast to coast, which is from the west to the east, you are going from California to Florida, you don't need to sometimes fly. You just take the highway. You drive, when you are tired, you stop your car into any nearest hotel, and you sleep, you get yourself, you refresh yourself. In the morning you shower, you change, and you start your journey. You just feel like you are not moving, but you are going very far. We want to do these things here. There is nothing that can stop us from doing this. The factor that was making us not able to do it was the insecurity. But now if our region is going to be a peaceful region, then there is no need to stop these things from our citizens. It is the right of the citizens to be provided by these services so that they can really feel that their region is peaceful, they're happy. Another factor I want to mention was the issue that happened in Gambela when the 200 kids were kidnapped. We don't like those kind of things to repeat themselves. And to stop them is by opening up the communities. Some of the things that make our communities not to get together is a lack of roads. So when you see somebody, you look at him as an enemy because you are not used to. But when the roads are open, there are vehicles moving, there are businesses on the road, people come together. And these kind of cultures of kidnapping children, taking somebody's wealth and run away with it, as the Murule did last time in Gambela, these things will stop. So I think we will work hard to make sure that these things are done.
How about the import-export relationship we have?
At the moment, of course, there's no proper goods that we are exporting or we are importing. What we are doing, for example, in South Sudan, is when the communities of the neighboring countries came also and stayed with us, as we have stayed with them, they were provided with the opportunities of setting up their businesses. And today, if you go to Juba, you will not miss anything, because if it is injera, it is there.
Oh, nice.
If you want to eat the rawat, it is available.
Okay.
And then sharawat also is, every food of Ethiopia is available in South Sudan. And the hotels also are run either by Ethiopians or Eritreans or Kenyans or Ugandans. So it is a mixed-up community. When the crisis started in 2013, the good thing that we like our neighbors, they didn't go away. They suffered with us. The businesses went very low, but they didn't go anywhere. The Ethiopian Commercial Bank is one of the biggest banks in Juba, and I think also it plays a bigger role in supporting the community in setting up their businesses. So that one is very important. And we are not only going to talk about Commercial Bank of Ethiopia, but at the Bank of Abyssinia, last time I visited them, I also encouraged them to set up a branch in Juba. We have many Kenyan commercial banks which are operating in South Sudan. We would also like to, now that peace has come, I would like to take this media as an opportunity to call the Ethiopian businessmen and women to go to South Sudan and continue. Those who might have left earlier, maybe because of some problems, I think it is time for them also to go back now. And those who are still going to look for new opportunities, this is also time. They are invited, they have to run their businesses. The issue of the roads, we will fight together to make sure that the roads are open for us. Because I myself, I'm a citizen of this region, and I need roads. Our governments need to work together to build roads for us, so that we can continue with our lives.
So you said you have injera in Juba. What do we have here from South Sudan?
That is the question. I understand the South Sudanese were trying to set up a place for the local food.
Here in Addis?
Here in Addis, but I think they didn't succeed. Maybe they didn't have capital. But most of the South Sudanese whom I know here, they say they sometimes go to near the African Union. There is a restaurant there, which is cooking African food, like the ones in Kenya. So they always go there. But I myself have not yet seen the place.
So do you get your food easily in Ethiopia by going to the African restaurants, or do you have a different dish in South Sudan?
Most of the foods here are already food that we have seen it, we have tasted in South Sudan, like the injera, the common food here. But also most of the time, the girls who are here with me in the house, we have told them how to cook South Sudanese food sometimes. And we sometimes eat what we call ugali.
Oh, ugali.
Yeah, we can eat them. They can also prepare that.
Okay.
And issue of food in Ethiopia here is not a problem, because we can eat injera as well as whatever we can prepare here at home.
Yeah. I asked you that because I wanted to take you to the cultural similarities we have and what do we share, and how are you planning to capitalize on cultural exchange between Ethiopia and South Sudan?
Being the people that have lived together for a long time,
Yes.
given the beginning of this interview, I've given you the beginning of when the time started. And even I believe before 1972, the people of South Sudan and Ethiopia had lived together earlier. Earlier to that, they had experience of living together. And then now here in Gambela, which is also Ethiopia, which has got the biggest number of the South Sudanese. When you go to Gambela, of course, you will find it difficult to know who is a South Sudanese and who is an Ethiopian, because we have the Anuak, who are Ethiopians and who are also South Sudanese. We have Nuer, who are also South Sudanese and also as Ethiopians. And then we have a lot of intermarriages. Yes. I have seen many Ethiopians who have got families together. Among them also my other family members currently living in the United States and in Australia. They were here in the 72 time. Now their children are even becoming older like us. You find the mother was Ethiopian, the father is from South Sudan. What I've seen is still missing. I have not seen many Ethiopians yet who have not married from South Sudan. But I encourage these young men. I encourage these young men to find their partners also on the cross the border. Through that way, that is how we will be really mixing up and live as one people.
So I'm coming to the end of the questions. What do you consider the most the most significant thing that you want to achieve before leaving Ethiopia? Your term ends.
Well, that one is a very interesting question. When I came here to Ethiopia in 2016, the issue of peace was very important. It was very difficult. It was unpredictable. And my prayer was that this peace should be signed during my tenure as an ambassador of South Sudan to Ethiopia. And that came true when the peace agreement was signed here in Addis Ababa. That one is very important to me. What my next step, he has been asked several times, that now that peace has been signed, what will be your main role in the remaining number of maybe months or years that you will be still here in Addis Ababa? What do you want to achieve? I said my next step is now about the development. Development of these two countries, the roads that we have already talked about, the connectivity of this region. I want to witness them happening when I'm still here, or I want to see that even when I'm leaving, I must say that at least something has taken off from the ground. That is one. Another history has taken place when the people of Ethiopia demonstrated successfully to the power transition, which was peaceful, when the Prime Minister resigned and the people of Ethiopia were able to get together and work out the modalities of coming up with a new government that would keep the government or the people, the country, together, united, and with the program that the new government has come up with. First is peace, number 2 is peace, number 3 is peace. And these are very important for us, because all what we say, if there is no peace, we can achieve nothing. True. We can achieve nothing. So with peace now in our hands, only the sky can be the limit. We can do whatever we can do. Our region is blessed. our region is endowed with so many things. In terms of manpower, we have almost 75 to 80% of young people. We have manpower enough. In terms of education, we also have educated people in this region. When I'm talking of this, I'm no longer talking about South Sudan. I'm talking about our region, which is the IGAD region, which is part of it is also the Horn of Africa. We want this region to chart way forward to fulfill the African Union Agenda of 2020, which is the agenda of silencing the guns in Africa, and then Agenda 2030, which is a sustainable development without stopping, and that will prepare us to march towards Agenda 2063. Some of my colleagues say, why do we talk Agenda 2063, which is very far, we may not be there. But my answer always to them is that when the Emperor Haile Selassie with his colleagues set up the OAU in 1963, they were already old. And they didn't look into themselves that why do we form the OAU when we are already old? But this is now like running. Every generation they form the OAU. Now we are in AU. We will run with this torch until we hand it over to the generation that will take it to 2063, and that generation will continue, because the Africa we want, we cannot achieve it now. The United Africa, prosperous, united, develop, we cannot get it now. But if we continue pushing these agendas, the flagships of the Agenda 2063, we have set the path. We will not be there, but we will be there by our spirits. And when our new coming generation is happy, we also will be happy in our graves. So what is wrong with it? It is fine. Yeah.
True.
Yes.
So at last, I want, if you listen to any Amharic music, Ethiopian music, you can invite that to our audience.
Yes.
Or if not, you can also invite a South Sudanese music to my audience.
Okay, yeah, that is very important. I like Ethiopian music, but unfortunately I don't know the names of the musicians. I was invited to the National Theatre. I think that was the occasion of the New Year. Okay. The celebration of the New Year, I was invited to the National Theatre. I really enjoyed all the musicians who played. And I saw one of the music where a man can beat a drum until it goes down. And really that was very nice. I don't know the name, but the Ethiopian music has always been one of my interests. Even here in the evening I put the Ethiopian music, so that even I don't understand, but I like the rhythm or the lyrics, because Ethiopian music is not different with the music of Sudan. The North Sudanese people like Mohammed Wardi, who is very popular here in Ethiopia. Said Khalifa were the best Sudanese musicians. And recently I'm also seeing that a number of South Sudanese are coming up with very nice entertaining music. For the interest of this program, I would like the listeners and the viewers of this program to play for me any Ethiopian music, especially that one that I described. Somebody was beating the drum until he went down beating the drum. And then he was jumping also with the drum, and he was beating it, and it sounds very good. So play it on my behalf. I will be enjoying it, and I will watch this program. and will enjoy it, I believe, because this had been a very nice moment that I met the technical team of this TV program presented by my sister here, Betty. Yes. So let this also not be the first and the last. Let us continue talking. Let us continue talking to our people, and let us together encourage our people, the young men and women of this region, to really look into this region without the imaginary boundaries that we are seeing on the map. If you go to this place, you will not see these lines. So let us be together, let us work together, let us encourage peace and development in our region. Let us encourage these young men to work wherever they feel like working. Through that way, we will achieve a lot and be the security agents for our region, all of us. Let us not leave the work of security to the people in uniform. Let us also be security to our region so that we can bar away bad elements.
True. Yes. Thank you, Ambassador, for having this interview with me. I'm very happy, and it was a very fruitful discussion we had, and I hope that our audience will enjoy it as well.
Thank you very much. Okay, Betty.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You, sir.
You're welcome once again here, anytime.
እሺ ተመልካቾቻችን ከአምባሳደር ጄምስ ሞርጋን ጋር የነበረን ጊዜ እንደወደዳችሁ ተስፋ እናደርጋለን። በእሳቸው ምርጫ መሰረት ወዛማ የሚለውን የትግረኛ ዘፈን እየጋበዝናችሁ ፕሮግራማችን በዚህ እናጠናቅቃለን።